Hello, Pyramid Energy. It's good to see you again. Well, to see myself again. I just want to jump right in today because I was busy doing something and then I started getting visuals. And the energy, it's taken me quite a while to actually press record just because I'll explain the energy, but it's like stringing this message together has been tough. So I'm just going to take it from the beginning, and I think it will unfold. But I first saw these wooden squares, like block squares, like this, in a row. And then I saw glue kind of being poured on across these squares. They weren't together, they're slightly apart. I felt like there was a wish though that they would be more organized, and it would be clear what exactly they were building or what they were putting together, what they were for, you know what I mean? And I also saw a flower, like flowers, but before the flowers I saw almost this idea that this glue, because it's not dry, was going to catch stuff as the wind blows, get stuck. Stuff was going to get stuck on to the glue. And it wasn't clear what the purpose of the glue was, because it's not like these squares were being put together like against each other or anything. They were just there. So I started looking into the meanings of these separate things, and I came across some interesting stuff. I'm looking at the screen. I'm using my laptop for recording and for looking up. I tried with my phone, it wasn't working. So we're going to do this. But it says here, squares typically represent sturdiness, strength, and completeness. And it also says most religions observe the square as a symbol of divinity. According to numerologists, the square is foundational and its 4 points represent strength. And then I looked up what a wooden square would mean. And it started bringing up stuff about Freemasonry. And so this is awkward because I've come across this term so many times. I wasn't great with history, but I've come across this term so many times, and I read it every time and I don't retain what it means. And I'm not sure why. Because when I looked it up today, I looked it up and there's stuff around. It feels a bit like a religion, but it feels a bit like a way of life. And it feels like it does require one to, religion does have its rules. It does require one to believe in God. But there was this sense of an organized mindset around a way of life, a set of rules that we live by. But the reason why I was reluctant to bring it in fully here is because I got this energy of controversy around the term. This is an interesting message. I got this air of controversy around the term. And then when I started going in there, I didn't want to go deep into it because I didn't think this video was about Freemasonry. So anyone who has any insight on it, I'd actually like to hear your views directly in the comments, because there's a relevance that's not lost on me. Obviously, the word freedom the word free in Freemason speaks to our freedom, our free will, our choices. And I looked up Mason, and a Mason is a person skilled in cutting, dressing, and laying stone in buildings. And it also says build from or strengthen with stone. So we're not working with stone here, we're working with wood. And there is definitely that sense that you want to build something, wishing that these things fitted together and that you knew how. Wood also has a sense of something that is cut from wood, from a tree, So something that's cut from wisdom. That's what I got the sense of. And essentially I'm speaking to, and this message may not be for everyone. It's for someone who feels like even though they're living their life right and they have these pieces of their lives, these segments or compartments of their life that they've sort of rebuilt separately, though they don't have an understanding of where they're going, wish they had an understanding of where they're going, where they're headed. The message here is that you are building something, and there's actually more that I need to go into. It's the glue part. The glue is very relevant. You are building something, and to trust that because the foundation of and the pieces of what you've put together already, these separate things, these various places that you're interacting with, these people, these places, you've made your decisions from a good place, from a sound place, based on sound principles that are strong, through being essentially what I want to refer to here as a good person. And so I also see a lot of difficult decisions you're having to make, and you're going through huge change right now, because what I saw sticking to the glue was actually leaves, and leaves speak about change and shifts and seasons. I'm going to tell you that the flowers came up too, and the flowers symbolize, where have I got it here? It says here, beyond their literal meanings, flowers hold a deeper spiritual significance. They serve, I'm squinting because I should be wearing my glasses, so I'm going to wear them because I can't see properly when I'm not wearing them. They serve as metaphors for life's journey, from bud to bloom, reminding us of the beauty and impermanence inherent in all things. Just like flowers, we too grow through seasons of growth and change. And, you know, this is what the leaves represented for me. But also, in these shifts, with these changes, all these decisions you're having to make, you're being told that you're actually safe because of how your decisions are made. So every little step you make, every little step you take, and having to make difficult decisions, sometimes dealing with very difficult people and difficult circumstances, situations that make you feel unsafe, a whole situation that makes you feel a bit disorganized, also because you don't know where you're headed. They're saying you're safe. You're safe because of the fundamentals that you've based your decisions on. And I think this is important. You know, I pulled a card. This is what's nice about this. I can show you the card directly. I pulled a card from this deck. It's called Angels and Ancestors. This is the hand-eye coordination thing happening again. Let me use my right hand. Still doesn't work. Angels and Ancestors. And this card says, Knight, be brave and honest. And he's holding his sword, which represents truth. And this is a person who knows how to fight, but this is also a man of prayer. This is a man of prayer, and I've also got here a flower of, oh, I said flowers already. The glue was important. Here's my glue definition. Glue symbolizes the spiritual process of overcoming fragmentation and restoring unity and wholeness. I found something else that's quite interesting here. It says, glue is such a great metaphor for our personal logic, because glue is largely unseen. We know a box has been glued, but 99% of the time we pay attention to the box, not the glue. Same with logic. It's kind of in the background. And for me, this is it. It's that there is logic to how these things are going to work or turn out. I'm going to go to my tarot cards now, just to see what message they have. I'm definitely going to edit this part out because I take a while with my cards. But I am not touching the video. I just want to say while I'm shuffling, because this Freemason thing keeps coming up. It's like become a, you know, I don't ever identify with any group really. But one of the things that stood out for me as I was looking it up is that they communicate through symbols. And I find that a lot through this channel. I find that, I feel like there's a religious trauma playing out for me here. But I find that there are a lot of symbolic things that move around in our conversations that come up, whether it's things I bring up and then you expand on and stuff like that. And apparently Freemasons have denied this, that they communicate through any secret language. But the sense I get maybe is that they're misunderstood. And what's important is that there's something that brings them together that they understand. And there is a sense of community, but also freedom within this community. And so this concept is really speaking to me. And there's something else that I picked up that I must share on this website, because when I looked up wooden square spiritual meaning, it pulled up this Freemason thing. That's how I got it. And the first thing I saw on the page was this wheel at the top of this symbol. They have a symbol, and at the top is this wheel that reminds me of the wheels of the golden wagon. The wheels of the golden wagon that I brought up in that Gold Rush video that I shared last week. And when I moved down, it then has this compass and a square, but not a square as in like a full-on square. It's a square that you use in maths, like part of a math set, that kind of square that helps you measure a square. And I'm going to read to you what it says here. Oh, and it's got a big G in the middle. It's got a big G in the middle, and I know it's not my name, obviously. And it says here, in Freemasonry, this symbol is used, the symbol put together, the square and the compasses is what they call it. This symbol is used to teach lessons of morality. The notion that being square in your actions implies being honest and fair. And the compass also gives me this idea around, even though you don't know where you're going, you have that compass. And it's the square that provides you the compass. It's and it's like it doesn't they're saying it doesn't matter for now that you don't feel the sense of order. It makes sense that that's how you feel that way, that that's why you feel that way, but that it doesn't matter. And I do really feel like there's a big element of trust that's needed here. And also a patting of yourself on the back for how you have run things up until now. I think that's very important here. You might hear my tummy rumbling now. And I also saw here Freemasonry is a fraternal organization of men who believe in brotherhood and helping others. And there was something that came up earlier. I'm going to remember now. My memory is not helping me right now, but it was around your role in the world. It's coming now. Yes, the wood. Wood spiritual meaning. It is often associated with fertility, abundance, and the life-giving power of the earth. Reading this, it says also, wood is also linked to the concept of growth, expansion, and new beginnings. In many cultures, wooden objects or sacred symbols made from wood are used to invoke and channel vitality and life energy. And you know what this is bringing me to is your role in the world. Your role in the world is to bring this life energy in. The Eight of Swords jumped out at me, which tells me that there is a mind loop that's taking place. And I believe it is out of thinking into the future and wanting to make sense of, again, where things are going. There's another one trying to pop out in here. The Four of Cups gives me that this keeps you up at night, thinking about these things and hoping that you'll find solutions through meditation. But there's this expectation. There's this expectation you have of yourself that things must be organized and in order. And it's as if there are things that in the process of building, it's as if there are things that need to be unknown to you for now. That need to be unknown to you for now in order for you to gain a really strong understanding of how valuable this way of life is, like the value that it holds, the way you make decisions, for you to actually know. Because it's as if you hadn't had a chance to actually test this way of living, this concept of basing decisions on this, purely this, your wooden blocks, purely that, you wouldn't actually understand their value. And you wouldn't understand that you needn't know the next steps. You needn't know the future. You don't have to have seen the future to know that this works. And I got the Three of Pentacles, which tells me, stay dedicated to your work. Keep working. And it's also telling me the present is the best place for you. The present. And the present, I got the Hermit. The present is where your answers are going to come from. It's in the present moment. For as long as you're chasing the answers in the future, for as long as you're looking ahead, those answers are not coming for you in that way. And I think that's the value of some messages like this, is that they confirm where you're at. They confirm your headspace. And they provide reassurance. So that it's like in the forest, finding, Hansel and Gretel with the breadcrumbs. It's just to let you know that you're on the right path. And I also get something that just popped out at me is worries around money, finances. This is real. Another thing, I've been shuffling for a while. I'm definitely going to edit this out, because if I tell you I've been shuffling for 3 minutes straight, possibly, this word Freemasons, it keeps coming up. And I kind of thought there's no point repeating that. I've said it a few times already. But what I'm getting from this is that if you knew how everything was going to turn out, you wouldn't have the freedom. The freedom is so important here. So the point is to be free and to build. And to build free of constraints. And to build based on your principles and your values. And to stay in the present. Otherwise you'll miss the journey. You'll miss the wisdom. And you need the wisdom because what you're building is based on it. It's based on it. And it's the changes that you're going through. I'm seeing it more clearly now. I haven't even blared one card. As these leaves that represent the seasons of change and the flower that the ever-changing blooming and the blooming of the flower, these changes are going to actually stick to what you're building. They are gonna be part of They're going to be the decoration of what you're building. You're a person of honor. And that word decorated, it's reminding me of this guy. You know how they refer to a soldier, I think it's a soldier, where they refer to them as, describe them as decorated. That's to say, you know, they wear all their badges proudly. Nothing has actually gone wrong. Nothing has actually gone wrong for you. Nothing has gone wrong along the way. All of these things have been needed for you to be able to look back at every point, just check and see how far you've gone, see how far you've come. And something that has been coming up since this morning is grace and gratitude. Those two words together, which is interesting. They're both G's. I'm saying G because of the Freemasonry thing. And look how much I've spoken about Freemasonry when I'm actually scared to, because I don't know what it means. But grace and gratitude. Grace meaning, you know, I read that it's the opposite of stiffness. So to not be rigid about things, to give yourself grace. Two things. To give yourself grace. So to be gentle on yourself, but also to not be rigid and to not be stiff. Allow yourself to move with grace through these changes. There are no expectations. There are actually no expectations. The ones that you feel are the ones that you are imposing on the situation. And gratitude speaks about taking stock of your accolades thus far. So if you were to look back and think about where you come from, where you're from, how much of you has changed. So many things. So perhaps what you're building is unclear, but the human, the person, the spirit, you have grown so much. You can actually already list your badges of honor because you're not the same person. And it's important to take stock of this, because when we do that, we ground where we are now. It's like a check-in point. You know, when you're climbing Mount Kilimanjaro, I have not climbed Mount Kilimanjaro. I've seen pictures of people who have climbed Mount Kilimanjaro. When you're climbing Mount Kilimanjaro, there are checkpoints, even Mount Everest. There are checkpoints where they stop, they rest. It says, you have climbed X number of kilometers. This is important because you get tired along the way. The climb is tiring. But you can stop at a point and pat yourself on the back to know that you're going to get there. That's where you check in with others and you're like, you know, we're doing good. We're doing good. And what I'm getting from these cards here is I've got the Ten of Swords crossed by the Tower, which is makes this message, this reading make sense. You're at the point of surrender. You've reached the point of surrender. It's come upon you quite suddenly. But the greatest thing about the Ten of Swords is just admitting defeat. Admitting that you don't have all the answers, which is such clarity, because it opens up this thing. It's like you can, once you've admitted that to yourself, you know, when you feel like you've been in the darkness very long, surrender brings light. It brings light. It's like a dawn where you can see there's light. You can't really see everything yet, but the light brings you refreshment and encouragement. And it's as if you're more ready for this clean slate than you would have been before that. And not just that, there's a relief that you have the clean slate, and the clean slate would not be available to you had you not surrendered. So it validates the process of the darkness. I see here the Lovers, where you're coming from. That's the choices that you've been having to make. Where you headed is, I had the Empress and the Hierophant, which speaks to me about really seeing very clearly the value of what you've got, what you've built, and being proud of that. And that's what I said earlier about wearing it with honor. And I've got here, top of mind, I've got the Four of Swords, which is these cards. I don't even know if they'll mean anything to you. I'm just showing you because I've got a camera on. This is not fighting it anymore, not fighting the process anymore, and just wanting to build. But I've got the Nine of Pentacles and the Nine of Cups in your outcome, the Nine of Pentacles in your subconscious, and the Nine of Cups, this one, in your outcome, which says you're going to be moving from wanting to build more structure, have more structure, more direction, to feeling more empowered from your efforts, your endeavors, and your dedication to yourself, is what I get. What they're wanting you to embrace, your advice is the Fool, new beginnings. And also when I was shuffling, I got the Death card. I got the Death card, which speaks of a rebirth coming, which is like, I'm getting this sense of a new day. And which is, I didn't mention this while I was shuffling because there were so many things coming in. But Celine Dion keeps coming to me. Celine Dion keeps coming to me. Slight segue. A lot of her songs have been playing. I've been listening to them. They've been refreshing me so much. I'm sure you've got your own list of Celine Dion that you listen to. And I think about all her grief and the struggle that she's been through, but the resilience that she's displaying, which is for me unimaginable. And we all have our personal struggles. And I want to send her love and light, and also just so much gratitude for her music, which seems to uplift me. And I tend to wonder to myself whether she's able to use her own music to uplift herself right now. But that's the song A New Day. A new day has that song. And in your... I need clarity on this card. Yeah. It flashed out at me. I didn't get the card out. But in your surrounding factors, I've got a lot of noise. I've got a lot of people needing you to make decisions, wanting things to move, I've got a sense of like wanting things to move and change. But then, so you want the change and you want that sense of direction. I've got the Eight of Wands in your, what you want the most, but what you fear the most. You're actually scared of things changing. So you want them to change, but you're scared of them changing. So it's that fear of movement, but the knowing that the movement is needed for change. And I'm actually getting that you're holding too much responsibility around what's going to happen. You're holding far too much responsibility around what's going to happen. And this is taking us back to all those messages that I started out with today. Continue to make every decision with integrity. There's no need to look back, because everything that you have decided on and acted, the way you've acted already, has been with integrity. That's actually what's keeping you safe. That's what's keeping you safe. I'm going to leave this message here. I'm tempted to pull one more card from this deck. lady, enjoy growth and reap rewards. I just want to see if it could get clearer, you know. It does. Enjoy growth and reap rewards. This gives me the sense that there's a guilt that you carry. You're carrying everyone on your shoulders. You can't. People's decisions. There's a video that I posted a while ago. It's called Judgment or something. I'm going to pin it at the end of this video. I feel like it's related and I'm going to go listen to it too. But there's this guilt. So you actually already have that sense of safety and that spiritual sense of security. But you're worried that towers are going to fall around you in a way you can't control. Fine, you can't control it. And you can feel the shifts that are coming. You felt the shifts that are coming. But you're worrying for everyone else. And what I'm getting is that while you can have compassion for others, you can't make their decisions for them. This is where I feel the repeat of the message that I shared a while back. You can't make these decisions for them. They also have the option of making decisions the way you make them. But they have free will too. And if they don't make decisions the right way, that's not for you to carry. And I think that's it. You feel all mushed up together with this stuff. You feel mushed up together with all this stuff. You also deserve compassion. And so don't let this spoil this season of your life. Don't let it taint the season of your life. It is what it is. It is what it is. Continue to make decisions the way you've been making them on that same basis. Stay in the present. And enjoy your growth and reap the rewards from it. Don't let these things hold you back. Don't let these things hold you back. You chose better. You made decisions. You've been making decisions in a really honorable way. And I'm going to close this reading now. That was interesting. I did get some clarity in the background. I got some clarity around how I'm going to do this. But we'll just let it unfold. Sending you love.